Customers of Adobe Photoshop are furious about its new terms of service. Artists got an unpleasant surprise when they opened Photoshop this week, as they were shown a pop-up window asking them to agree to new terms. Among the changes, Adobe now says it has the rights to access customers' content through, quote, automated or manual methods. Why does Adobe need to do this? There's speculation that the company is generating thumbnail images for cloud storage, or it's scanning for child sexual abuse material. These would all be reasonable explanations, but the company isn't saying. Adobe also says that if you're using its software, you're giving the company the right to reproduce, license, or even create derivative works from your content. Now, it's true that when we use cloud services, we are giving up a certain amount of privacy. It's also true that social networks, for example, can take similar rights. When you post photos to Facebook, you're essentially giving Facebook the right to use those photos. But we're not talking about your personal Facebook or Instagram photos. Photoshop is used by many professional artists for their livelihoods. They might also be working on sensitive or confidential material. For example, the designer Wetterschneider posted that if you're under an NDA, quote, it is time to cancel Adobe. Delete all the apps and programs. Adobe cannot be trusted. Similarly, the movie director Duncan Jones wrote, quote, we are working on a bloody movie here, and no, you don't suddenly have the right to any of the work we are doing on it because we pay you to use Photoshop. There's also the question of whether Adobe might use this content to train generative AI. Now, different artists may have different opinions about this, but it's probably safe to say that many of them do not want their work being used to train a potential replacement. We've seen this in a number of creative fields, like with last year's actors and writers strikes. Interestingly, this controversial update appears to date back several months to February 17th. It's just that the pop-up window didn't show up until now, which is a reminder of the many crazy changes a company might make under the guise of updating its terms of service, terms that many people simply won't read. And this pop-up is extra obnoxious because customers say they cannot use the software until they accept the new terms. In fact, they can't even speak to customer service or uninstall the app until, that's right, they click accept. Now, if you're feeling cynical, you might think that Adobe doesn't need to do anything here. The artist might complain and then continue to use Photoshop. That's possible. But it's also possible that enough creative professionals might get mad that they start looking a lot closer at alternatives. They might also apply enough pressure that Adobe walks some of these changes back. I'll see you Monday.